Boys, what's going on? As you can see, once again, I am getting ready to go golfing very soon. This time, I actually have a lot of time, so I can spend as much time as I want on this video, although I wouldn't think it would take particularly long to talk about what I want to talk about. Basically, oh, also, by the way, if you guys noticed, Edik, Commander Edik of my Discord, went to Japan recently, and he got me a ton of shit from Japan. He actually got me a few manga books, as well as those two beautiful things, if you can't tell, that is Dofi and Nami. So, yeah, maybe I'll show those. Maybe when I get some more stuff. I'm also planning on getting a few posters. Specifically, right now, I have my eyes on an Attack on Titan poster. Thinking it'll go right on the door. So, that will be pretty cool. But, yeah, I did get those since so many people said I needed to add stuff to my background. So, there you go. There's something for sure. But, yeah. So, what I wanted to talk about today was in my last video, right, I was talking about different devil fruits and how powerful they are. How powerful I think they are, really, because I was making a tier list of all the devil fruits in the series, at least the vast majority of them. And a lot of people, I mentioned in the video that I was the way I was considering these devil fruits is how they can be used at their maximum power. And I have always done this when I've talked about devil fruits. Whenever I'm talking about them, I almost always disclaim that that's what I'm doing. I'm using them at their peak power, using all the abilities they can use. And every time I do this, without fail, for some reason, people take that a whole different variety of ways. They basically think I'm just saying something completely different. And there's a lot of different takes on what this is people think I believe. They think that for some reason I'm saying the best we have ever seen from a particular user or something, which is kind of true, but then like they're comparing it if more than one person's had the same devil fruit, which has only been true like 2 times. So that's not really the best example ever. But just all these weird different ways of what I mean when I say that. And I talk about how powerful I think devil fruits are a lot, right? And so this becomes really annoying to me, honestly, when people are just constantly saying that I'm not being consistent with what I'm claiming at all. And I think I'm being 100% consistent, right? A lot of people will say, like, okay, well, this fruit is only... For the best example, really, is actually the main character's devil fruit, which is Luffy, of course. And people always say... I think it's one of the stronger devil fruits in the series. It's in the upper echelon, right? I believe I put it in the A tier in my list, which was the second highest, and the S tier was ridiculous. And people are very upset with this, and they think that that's... They say Luffy is ultra creative with his devil fruit, and that's why it's so good. Other people wouldn't do that. That's fair. I bet Luffy is likely one of the only people that would come up with the things that he's come up with. I agree with that, of course. That makes sense. But that's not what I'm talking about. And I specifically, when I do these kind of devil fruit discussions, I explain that that's not what I'm talking about. When I am ranking devil fruits, when I'm saying one devil fruit is better than another, what I am talking about is how strong it can be at its maximum potential. Not if the strongest character in the series has that devil fruit, right? That's a lot of people say, like, oh, well, this devil fruit just doesn't seem that strong because this person has it, but if this person had it, then it would be really good. Sure. Yeah. I mean, I get that concept. That's not what I'm talking about. What I am saying is, if you have a devil fruit, right, you eat it. No matter who you are, let's say there's a devil fruit. I eat it, okay, and then I die or something, and then Edik eats it, okay, for the sake of bringing Edik back into this video. The abilities that I could use when I eat that devil fruit are identical to the abilities that Edik would be able to use when he ate that devil fruit. Now, would I be able to figure out as much as him? Or would he be able to figure out as much as me, all the abilities of this devil fruit? I don't know. I don't know. Who cares? That's not what I'm talking about. When I am talking about the strength of a devil fruit in comparison to other devil fruits, I am talking about what it can potentially do. Assuming somebody has unlocked all of its abilities, what they would be able to do with those abilities, right? And I guess the only way that when I say maximum power, the only way it exactly wouldn't be maximum power is if you needed a character's certain base abilities to be able to enhance that power. For example, I put Whitebeard's fruit as the A tier, right? That's the second highest tier. And a lot of people were saying, oh, it's the strongest devil fruit in the series. I think that's absurd. I really do. I believe that at the time of Whitebeard's death, and certainly his prime, with the only exception possibly being Kaido, and even then, I don't know. We have not seen enough from Kaido yet. I reckon Whitebeard was probably the physically strongest person in the entire series. Now, when you combine that with a devil fruit that just will scale in power and value based on your own physical strength, yeah, like, he's going to be the strongest devil fruit user in the series. The strongest devil fruit user is the key here, right? His devil fruit enhances his abilities more than anyone else in the series, most likely. However, I think that is only because of his exact, like, setup, right? Like, that is his big thing, a massive amount of physical strength. His fruit scales with that ridiculously. This has nothing to do with intelligence or anything like that, so that's not exactly what I'm talking about. If it's just like some completely physical thing, that's not really what I'm talking about. I'm mainly talking about powers and abilities. For example, one of the reasons that I think Dofi's is so valuable, right, is if you understand how to use all of his abilities, if you're capable of doing that, if you unlock them or however it works, they're not difficult to use at all whatsoever. I mean, it's very straightforward, right? Like, you just fucking slash your strings and you destroy mountains. They explode. They go through basically anything. That's why I think his is so versatile. It's so powerful. I think, in my opinion, it is the second strongest devil fruit in the series. And it doesn't really matter if it's just easier to use, right? But the point is, you don't have to do anything to make it special at all, really. You just use it, and it's super powerful. The same with the lightning fruit, right? It's just a Logia, which are all very straightforward, very easy to use, very easy to understand, and it's just a ridiculous element. So, I think that's why it's the strongest devil fruit in the series. You could argue the light, maybe. I can see it, but I need to see more from Kizaru and what exactly he can do before I would make that determination. And I do think the string fruit is currently stronger than Kizaru's fruit. So I don't know if that broke it down really, if that explains my logic when talking about devil fruit. Basically, the way I see it is, if we have seen somebody use an ability with a devil fruit, then when I am talking about that devil fruit and how powerful I think it is, I am accounting for that ability. I don't do any less and I don't do any more than that, right? That's basically all there is to it. I mean, I guess if something's really obvious, like if a devil fruit, it's pretty clear how it works, and we haven't seen them do it, but like hello, like, like, I don't know, if somebody was to have like the fire fruit, right, and we haven't seen somebody really like fly like how you would with a jetpack, but I mean, we've seen enough to assume that is a possibility, especially considering what Akainu is capable of. That is something I would just consider to be guaranteed, basically, which is why I would say that's a little bit different. Sure, we haven't technically seen that, but I mean, we know what it is. It's the fire fruit. We know it can do certain things just based on what it is. So that's basically all I wanted to talk about here. There's just been so much confusion when I talk about that, and I would really like to be able to just give people a link to a video of me explaining exactly what I'm talking about when I say these kind of things, because people get heated about this kind of, I mean, that's how it is on my channel, right? I apparently throw out controversial opinions that I don't really think are, but I guess they are. And how I rank devil fruits and how strong I think they are and the way that I gauge them is different, I suppose. Now, I could maybe do a different tier list for devil fruit users. Using that same exact tier list would be fine, right? I mean, that would be different. Or even like how well somebody uses their devil fruit or something along those lines. That would be a very different video, of course. I mean, some of the people in the lower parts would be much higher. Like, look at Kinemon. I mean, he would be much higher, right? His devil fruit doesn't do anything, but he is a devil fruit user, so he would be much higher in that. Or just other people who use it really shitty, they would be lower, right? And people who have a really bad devil fruit but are really powerful, again, like Kinemon, they would be higher. So that would be a lot different. But that is how I view devil fruits. Hopefully that was a decent explanation. In my opinion, that's how it should be looked at in general. I mean, other people have their ways of doing things, but I think that's the most logical because that's really what we're talking about. We're talking about how powerful a devil fruit is, right? We're not talking about the user. We're not talking about how the average user is with the devil fruit. We're talking about the devil fruit itself. Sure, Luffy's very creative when he uses that ability, but anyone could do that, right? No one probably would. Luffy is likely the only person that would come up with such a thing unless someone was really just... Maybe not even, honestly, because Luffy's not that smart of a guy, right? I'm sure some people would come up with the idea, but that's not the point. The point is that anyone could theoretically do that. They just have to have the idea. So that means the devil fruit itself makes that possible. So that's why I'm talking about the devil fruit as a whole when I say that. So that's basically it. Hopefully that was a decent explanation. Maybe you guys will go back on some of my videos and be like, okay, this makes more sense now that I understand what he's saying. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, remember to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. Leave me a comment. Let me know if you think that this is a ridiculous system. It makes no sense whatsoever. I should just start doing what everyone else does, which I don't even know if it is, since everyone seems to do their own thing. But, I'd like to hear some suggestions from you guys. I hope you guys have an excellent rest of your day, and I will talk to you on Friday.